It's that peaceful time. Everyone's been fed. And so I thought I would take you on a little tour of the garden. I've been watering in the evening. And so after feed time around now until dark, then I like to water. Anyways, the sunflowers, as you can see, are blown and are starting to form seed heads. And some of them are singles, like this guy, and some of them are multiples, like that one. And it's always fun to see. The filigree pasture mix is going to seed as well, so that's fun. I'm hoping that that will be self-renewing. All these white clovers and this kind of, I think it's a millet maybe. Here's more of that type of sagebrush, the Bigelow sagebrush. Yep, and so over here the cucumber is doing great. No cucumbers on it yet, but it is in bloom underneath. The tansy asters are in bloom, covered with buds, so those have only just begun. This alfalfa is going to seed. So I've never seen alfalfa go to seed before. It makes those weird little curly beans. There goes juniper. This watermelon is bearing a comely pair of melons right there. Those are the personal size. So I'm excited to finally get some watermelons. Not a lot else is doing too much in the island garden. This hardy rootstock apple is managing quite well. It did fine during the drought, the heat wave. So next spring we're going to look for some scions to graft onto it. Not much happening but grass on this, what we call the moat of the island. There are tucked away some little fennels. There's a fennel in there, believe it or not, and looks like another alfalfa. But the more I work the other gardens, the less I feel like planting anything but rabbit-friendly items in the rabbit garden. This red raspberry is keeping on, so I'm hoping it's really putting some energy into its rootstock for the winter, and it will come back in full vigor next year. Hey, juniper. And we lost one of the comfreys, but the other two are staying alive, vaguely. He had a little bit of a dig. And then in the herb island, the thyme is doing still really well. The mint is happy as much as we water it. And the sage is looking great. So I have a bunch of rabbit to can up to make it shelf stable and to also preserve the onion harvest. And so these herbs are going to come in handy for that. And along here, cucurbit row. I don't know what happened to this guy. It'll probably perk up when I water it. Anyways, that's a banana squash. There's a few, like I think 6 plants here, and we're finally starting to get flower buds. And it got long enough to flop and to creep. Hi, Harold. Instead of to be upright. And then over here, there's Tezcat, the polka. Over here, these are buttercup squash with some little cucumbers underneath. This big mound is also buttercup squash, and it's finally starting to put on some female flowers here and there. But up till now, it's been male flowers only. This zinnia has a flower bud, and it's actually kind of a normal height. Gosh darn ravens squawking in the background. They want to steal more of our eggs. Here's another personal size watermelon. And this morning I know I saw watermelon females. They're so tiny. Yes, look at that. Look how tiny. It's micro. And I think that's a melon next to it also, like a muskmelon and a volunteer tomato. The kittens like to go in the crops and mess them up. So, fiasco over here. Let's hope he does not break down any more of the bean plants, which are finally blooming. Oh, here's some more later planted sunflowers compared to the others I showed you. So those are just coming into bloom. See all these cats. They follow me everywhere and they flatten plants. Yeah, but because there were a lot of missing spaces, I went back and reseeded. So those are more wax beans coming up under the older ones. And then in the back, there's beans mixed in, and then there's also corn replanted. But you know, one pass through of the turkeys and the baby corn is gone. There's a little bit. I planted it kind of close because I knew that would happen. These corns are in silk, but the tasseling got really dried pretty bad during the heat wave. We'll see if they get pollinated. I've been feeling the cobs and there's not much there, guys. Either way, you know, like the sheep will enjoy eating those corn stalks. Here's a good looking patty pan. Let's see what it's got to share. Oh, look, it's got some females. So that's going to start making patty pans. Now here is the weird mixed bag grouping. There are more than one plant. There's like more than one plant in this mound of cucurbits, and it just keeps coming up with different things. So these guys have continued to grow in size and weirdness. And it looks like because that has a tendril, I'll probably, oh, that's not even a tendril. Those are flower stalks. I was going to say, if it has a tendril, then I want to wait for the tendril to dry out. Might just crack these open and see what they're like. See, I don't even know if they're a melon or a squash or what those are. I already harvested 2 decent patty pans off of one of these more central stakes. No more of those coming on that I can tell. But strangely enough, there's like, whoops, sorry about the camera. There's like a zucchini in there now. Just the weirdest thing. But it's making food. I still have not. I harvested the dried seeds from the snap peas, but I haven't taken them down yet. I've been working in the other yard garden. Here's a single head It's making some nice black seeds. Turkeys, kittens, stalking turkeys, naughty. Psst, psst, Fiasco, no. Okay. Now over here, there are more patty pans, and I think I'm going to take some. So this one, a beautiful yellow one, that looks like the right size. Ah. I have arthritis in my wrist. But that's a good one. Yay. Let's see what else is in here. There's a baby coming up. If you pick things, then it stimulates the plant to grow more. So, pick them when they're not micro, like not tiny babies, but don't wait too long. And then I see a couple more, maybe, at least one more down here. Ooh, that's a big one. Yes. And I have already picked just over a pound of this type. Won't have to wait long for more. There's female flowers all over this. And it's the strangest thing. This volunteer weird pumpkin, like a moon pumpkin, it made exactly 3 fruits. And then you can see this would be the growth tip. There's no growth tip. So it's like a determinate squash. It's strange. So I'm going to take it too. It's huge. And that will be pumpkin number 8 out of 1 million. Come on, pumpkin. There we go. There we go, and we'll see what happens with that vine now that it's been harvested, but looking good. And next door to that, oh, check it out, these peas are blooming again, so I'm going to plant some more for fall. We'll see if they prefer to grow in fall. Anyways, here's another patty pan. Let's see what it's got. It's got baby yellows. Have to wait for those. This right here is a 4-wing saltbush. Got some amaranth, some wild type of amaranth. This beautiful multi-flower. Over here is another patty pan. Last one in the row. And it's got some babies starting, some female flowers. So that's going to be awesome. Harold, you leave those turkeys alone. The ewes came by, the ewes and lambs came by and topped off these. But those ones are still growing. And over here are the other sweet potato slips that I started. And walling them off allowed another sunflower seed to germinate. But these are sweet potato slips. Once again, those are going to be for the foliage, for us and for the animals to eat. And look at the mallow is real happy about getting some rain. Hi, Calamity. This pecan tree is holding on. It's doing real well, even though the bunnies like to dig next to it. So we did get a little bit of rain. I only added a little bit of water. The rest came from the rain. That's why things are doing well now. What a blessing. It's such a nice still evening, except for the squawking of the ravens. Loudmouths. Brats. Be gone. Just another view of the little corn patch here. Corn and beans with the squash on the other side of the fence. The rabbits don't bother the squash. And over here in the basins, the large one is a volunteer, and then the small ones on the outside are cuttings. And then in the center, a volunteer that has that shrivel up and die situation happening. And the front row is none of the burgundy beans except for this one guy. So tomorrow I'm going to replant that whole crescent moon there with some radishes, I think. Hi, hooey. Nothing much new to report here. I'm still busy doing other things, but there's a wolfberry in the asparagus. There's a wolfberry in the asparagus. And then another wolfberry in the asparagus. Hi, cats. So those got to get dug up and moved over to Ramlandia. But the asparagus is doing good. It's even getting bushier and sending up flower stalks. We have just barely one strawberry plant clinging to existence. And for some reason, the cats have decided that this bed is perfect for doing their business in. And the heavier rain, we got around 1 inch the other day. It showed me how I need to re-engineer this memorial garden. You can see these low areas on the outside that I would have liked for them to pour water into. The butterflies' wings, but instead they created pools, and the butterfly wings were kind of raised mostly. Anyways, nothing really took here. It needs some more TLC, more soil development, and I think I'm going to focus on sunflowers, get some sunflowers in here for the fall. Let's check out over here in this bed. Once again, that shrivel up and die thing is happening to this tomato. The one next to it looks awesome, like it used to. This one is in the beginning phase. So I have some rabbit tea, some rabbit manure tea, and I'm going to try a foliar drench because I've had good luck doing that, quelling disease. If it's a disease, I haven't really noticed bite marks from insects, so it could be something from the roots since we have grub worms instead of regular worms decomposing our mulch for us. Down here there is there are three pepper plants that survived. The burdock is doing good. And next door, I actually harvested 9/100 of a pound, almost 1/10 of a pound of cherry tomatoes. And it looks like I can maybe harvest about that amount again. So it starts with a handful, and then it starts hopefully coming in bowlfuls, and then, as much as possible, give thanks for that. Next to that, the apricot tree is looking great. Fleeter Mouse is happy to sit near it. Over in Ramland, let's look at the pecan tree and the Russian olive. Aristocrat has some stubborn fur clinging to his shedding. Excuse me. So he's itchy. And Mr. Agro Petroglyph, he's very rammy. Yeah, but over here, excuse me, is the beginning of this catchment and fodder patch, and that's where the pecan tree is. And also here rests blue lilac. So I'm going to go ahead and seed this with inoculated clover, and then, get like some alfalfa and some wolfberry growing in here, and then carry on with the rest of the circular planting. And here is the Russian olive. It's looking great, putting on new growth, happy as a clam. It's raining out that way. And I just heard some coyotes yipping to the north. I'm gonna go get those dogs on them. Cheers and blessings.